Well, let's go straight now to the southern Israeli city of Ashkelon and our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette. Lise, hello to you. Can we, first of all, just focus on the diplomatic efforts? We are awaiting a statement from Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State. He's visited, 6 Arab states over the last 4 days, spoken to 6 different leaders. How would you summarise the US approach to what's happening where you are?
Israel I think it's clear that Israel and the United States are almost in lockstep now, at least at this moment. The United States is doing everything it can, both to show Israel that it will stand by its right to defend itself, but also to send a very clear message as its staunchest of allies, that Israel also has to do everything it can to try to minimize civilian harm. Antony Blinken came to Israel some days ago. He did his tour of the region, speaking to every Arab leader who could have some sway over one side or the other, one part or the other in this conflagration. He's come back to Israel, and we've just heard that instead of going back to the United States tonight as planned, he's going to go back to the Jordanian capital, Amman. So whenever a top diplomat like Antony Blinken changes his travel schedule, it is perhaps a sign that they're working on something, and we know that they are focusing on 2 fronts. One is that they want to get that Rafah crossing, the only way in and out of Gaza, on Gaza's southern border, to get the foreign nationals out, about 1,000 of them, to get that desperately needed aid, food, fuel, medicine. The lorries are piling up at the Rafah crossing in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Secondly, they want to do everything possible to ensure that this crisis does not spread. As bad as it is in Israel and Gaza, if it spreads even further, or if it spills across the border, then it is an even more dangerous territory.
Tell us, you're in Ashkelon. The military build-up presumably there continues for the ground offensive. Have you got any sense of, just tell us what you're seeing, what you're hearing where you are?
Well, this is day 10 of this war. 10 days since the massacres committed by Hamas in southern Israel. We've seen with every day the Israeli forces racing down to the border, the artillery, the armor. They're now in a zone, a closed military zone that we're not allowed to enter. But throughout today, we moved around southern Israel, including to Sderot, which is less than a mile from the Gaza border. There was the constant sound of our Israeli artillery firing into Gaza, and at every place that we went, the Israeli military moved us away, that it was too dangerous, that we could be in the line of fire. In the last position, they said there could be an errant missile fired by the tanks which are firing into Gaza. You get a sense that the military operations are gathering pace. And of course, the non-stop bombardment of Gaza. It seems as though Israel wants to, well, there was hope there could be a ceasefire in southern Gaza. That hasn't been reached. But that is the focus now, so that there can be more humanitarian and a rescue of some of the people in Gaza. I have to say it's been relatively quiet. There was 2 days ago, the air raid sirens went off almost every hour here in Ashkelon. It's been relatively quiet today, although there have been missiles fired in other parts of southern Israel. And in border towns like Sderot, an official evacuation is taking place to move even more people to safety away from that border.
OK, Lise Doucette, thank you. That's Lise Doucette, our chief international correspondent there in the southern Israeli city of Ashkelon.